Lower body mobility routine. Focus on getting some mobilities, exploring range of motion from the big toes up to the hips in all planes. We are starting in a quadruped position, so on hands and knees, and you're just going to be rocking backwards. As you can see from the side view, the toes are extended, so they're basically in an up position, and by shifting backwards, we are shifting the weight more towards those toes. Then the next progression is just going to be transition from the quadruped into the kneeling position, shifting the weight again a little bit more towards those extended toes. The next is going to be just shifting from the kneeling position up to the squat, and again putting pretty much the whole weight over those toes. The most important is if anything hurts or if you feel this is too much, because it can be quite challenging, just do just the previous version or whatever you found comfortable. Next is going to be the rocking focus on the plantar flexion, so basically ability to point your toes forward and keep them nice and straight. The next progression is going to be like in the previous case, just shifting from the quadruped position into the kneeling, putting a little bit extra weight over those ankles. The next progression then is going to be from the tall kneeling position, just lifting one knee off the floor. Again, just listen to your body, so don't push through any pain. You should feel just nice stretchy feeling in the front of the ankles. And this is the most challenging variation, where you're going to be shifting the whole weight backwards and lifting both knees up. In the next drill, we're going to focus on the half kneeling dorsiflexion, so ankle movement. First, you need to set the pelvis nice and neutral, keeping the ribs down, keeping the heels down as you are moving with the ankle forward. You can explore a little bit of range of motion going left, right, or to the middle, whatever is the most difficult or whatever you want to improve. That should be the direction you could try to do that. And again, the same, you're going to repeat the same on the other side. The next drill is going to be focused on the hip extension, so ability to bring your hip backwards behind you, very important for runners. You're going to set the pelvis straight, you're going to tilt the pelvis backwards, and then you're going to rock back and forth, back and forth. Now you can see the side view. I'm going to tilt the pelvis backwards and just shift my weight forward, thus creating a little bit of stretch in the front of the thigh. The most important is, as you are rocking forward, you should not or you must not tilt your pelvis, otherwise you're just going to be arching your back rather than getting that stretch feeling or the mobilization from the hips. Our next is going to be mobilizing the hamstring, so you just from that half kneeling position, you're just going to be stepping forward with one leg, rotating your pelvis around, staying in the middle, then you can rotate the whole leg around, and then you can lean from your hips, trying to bring your chest basically towards your foot or trying to bring it forward. You might find that if you set it right and if you move only from your hips, depending on your hamstring flexibility, you won't be able to move very far. And again, repeating the same on the other side. Our next is going to be 90-90 position, so you're going to set the front leg in front of you. There's going to be 90 degrees in the knee. First drill you're going to do is you can just bend forward, bring the chest forward towards that knee. You have a few variations with the hands, so keeping the hands in front of you or just close to the ground or across the chest. The next drill is going to be just rotating your pelvis, so putting your hands on your pelvis, hip bones, and then just rotating them around. And the next one is going to be just leaning to the side for the internal rotation for the trail leg. The intention should be just to try to bring the sit bone of the trail leg down to the ground. And then you're going to repeat exactly everything on the other side. So you just start with the rotations, just exploring the range of motion. Then you're just going to rotate, keep rotating forward, and you're going to be hinging forward, trying to bring the chest towards the floor. Again, just exploring a few different variations. The one you see me doing with the hands to the side is the most difficult one. And the next one, or the last one in 90-90, is just going to be going through the side, exactly like you see. And again, the intention is going to be bring the left sit bone to the ground or just to keep it there all the time. Next is going to be lunge variation or half kneeling, stepping into the stand, so it's almost like a lunge. Again, just setting the pelvis neutral, breathing out, keeping the ribs down, and then you're just going to keep that pelvis in the same position and just stepping forward and backwards. Just make sure that when you are stepping backwards, the left hip now is not hiking up, so it's staying in the same position. You might feel nice engagement in the glutes, in the hips. Next, you're going to just repeat the same on your side. Again, just stepping back and forth, making sure that you are not hiking the right hip and you are also not extending your pelvis, so you should keep that pelvis nice and neutral. The next is going to be squat. First, you're going to get into the deep squat. If you struggle with this position, you can just put something under the heels or you can sit on something, just mobilizing the hips. First drill is basically just spreading the knees apart with the hands. The second one is you're going to actively push the hands into the knees into the hands and then just trying to open the knees up. You're going to repeat this 3 times. The next is going to be just pushing those elbows actively into the knees and flexing, extending, so rounding and arching your back. The next is going to be just bending forward. You can use your hands like a gauge, how far you go, how far deep you go into that squat. Next is just a little bit of isolated motion of the hips. Again, just left, right, internal, external rotation. Over here we are focusing on the hip motion, so I don't really mind moving of the ankle into the weird planes. Thanks very much for watching. Just small tip, if you found any of these challenging, just pick the drill which you were not able to do and just try to repeat it every day and just test, retest. Within a week or two you might see interesting change. Body is amazing and it learns by repetition. Guys, good luck.